first let's talk about financial security. Now it's pretty obvious that if you get an email from somebody in Nigeria that says, I'm a prince and I have $100 million and I'm just trying to get out of the country and all you got to do is send me 250 bucks and I'll get out of the country and give you $50 million in response, right? That's obviously a scam, right? There's no way that that's real. The old adage, if it's too good to be true, it is. So they've learned how to do better at scamming people. And it's really actually sad, some of the things that they do, and I'm going to talk about that and kind of get into a little bit, but just reiterating, you know, if somebody calls on the phone and asks you for money, don't do it. Bottom line, that's just the way it is. So they've become more advanced. They've become more personal, for example. So for example, if I asked you guys to raise your hand, who here has a grandchild? Most of you. So we've gotten calls from people that say, hey, your grandkid just got in an accident in Arizona. And apparently he was down here visiting and he got in a severe accident. The problem is in Arizona, we use what we call the EMT card, and he doesn't have one. So in order for him to be transported, we need someone to pay for his transport fees, which is $2,500. And we can't transport him to the hospital until we get that fee. And we looked at his phone, and your number was in the phone, his grandma. We don't even have his name, but we assume that, you know what I mean? Yeah. And there's people paying that. Call you up in the middle of the night, your grandkid needs to be transported to the hospital, just give us your credit card information, we'll take care of him. There is no ambulance service on this planet, well maybe in somewhere, but certainly not in this country, that is not going to transport somebody for lack of funds, right? That is a scam. That is somebody from somewhere else pulling on your heartstrings. There are people that call in the middle of the night that say, it's a girl's voice. Oh, I'm so-and-so, and I've been in an abusive relationship, and I don't know who to turn to, so I just dialed the phone, and you're the first number that came up, and I'm stuck here, and he's coming, and I'm scared, and I just need a bus ticket out of this area so I can get home to my mom. And she's got me blocked because we've had problems, but I'm trying to repair my life. I just need $500 to get home and get away from this guy who's been abusing me, right? Who doesn't want to help that, right?
I'm telling the sheriff's numbers right there.
That's right, 911, they'll come get you, right? So, but it goes on and on and on. And unfortunately, far too many people, especially in the middle of the night, you woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning, you don't quite have your wits about you yet, you know, you still got the bedhead going on, whatever, and somebody's pulling at your heartstrings like that. It's very easy to fall into that conversation or trap. Sometimes it looks even better, where, you know, we've had calls, or we'll get, I got this check in the mail, I've won the Canadian lottery, right? It's $50,000 I won. Right, and all I got to do is pay the duty fees from this 50, and they'll let me cash this check and take the duty fees right out of the check. So I'm going to get, you know, $48,000. I just got to send them this check for $2,000, and I got $48,000. There's the check right here from the Canadian lottery. And this gal called me, and I said, well, did you play the Canadian lottery? No. Have you been to Canada lately? No. Then how is it you think you won the Canadian lottery, right? So that what happens is that you take this check to the bank, you deposit it, you pull out the $2,000 that they want, you send it to them, and then you find out in the interim this check that looks real isn't. And so now you're just out the $2,000. Wasn't a duty fee, etc., etc. I'm just going to reiterate this. If any company calls you and says that you're supposed to give them money right away, don't. That's it. Just don't. Second of all, if you're concerned that it may be real, hang up and call whatever number information or is on their website or whatever of a legitimate, like, I'm from the IRS. I'm going to arrest you, etc. Okay, hang up, call the IRS. Hey, I'm so-and-so. Are you going to try to arrest me? First of all, the IRS doesn't work that way. But my son actually got one of these calls from the IRS. The sheriff's on his way to arrest you. If you don't go down to Walmart and get $1,000 in Walmart gift cards and give us the number for that gift card, the sheriff's on his way to arrest you. And he believed it for a minute. He goes, remember when we did my taxes, it said there was that issue we had to go? No, that's not how it works. The IRS, A, doesn't send the sheriff's office to arrest you. That's not what they do. And second of all, it's a pretty easy call at the sheriff's office to say, hey, is there a warrant for my arrest? Or the prosecutor's office, or what? It's just not how it works, right? And the IRS isn't going to ask you to go to Walmart. I mean, that's another thing. So just anytime, and we say this over and over and over again, and it seems obvious, right? But we all can get stuck in a situation where we feel like it's the right thing to do. And it's not, ever, right? So if you feel, even now we're getting a lot of charities that will call up and say, hey, this is for this. I had a call from a charity that was a law enforcement and firefighters support group or whatever it was. And of course, I've been in law enforcement for 22 years now, pretty familiar with the assistance that's out there. I'm kind of a grant seeker guy anyway. So I asked him, I said, okay, what have you done for, because all this money that they collect goes to your local law enforcement and firefighters. Okay, great. So our local, what do you mean by local? You mean Okanogan County, Okanogan City? Oh yeah, this is gonna, they knew where I lived, or they asked me or something, and oh yeah, Okanogan City Police Department. Well, I didn't tell them yet that Okanogan City doesn't have a police department, but moving on from that, okay, what have you done? Oh, we've bought vests, we've bought uniforms, you know, all this stuff. Clearly all lie. Totally, I kept him on the phone for a little while because I found it humorous. And then I explained to him that no, you haven't done any of these things for our local fire department or police department, and please don't call me again. But it happens. We get this all the time. If you want to donate to a good cause or charity, look them up, right? If you wanted to donate to the Red Cross, look up the Red Cross. They're going to have a method of donating. If you want to donate to your local police department, go down to your police department and donate to them. Don't do it on the phone. Most of them are scams. Some of them are real, but you have no way of dividing the two. I was just listening to the statistics yesterday on there's some class action lawsuits against several veterans groups. They're not truly veterans groups, but they say they are. And they've been collecting donations for years, and they never pay out, and they've never given a dime to a veteran. So there's some class action lawsuits, and they sound great, you know. Wounded Warrior Memorial Fund, which sounds just like the Wounded Warrior Project, but it's not, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you just have to be very careful. If you decide you're going to donate to a cause, and if somebody's called you on the phone about that, don't do it then. Hang up, look them up. Have somebody else look them up. Ask a trusted friend, whatever it is. Go to them later and go to their source to do that donation. Don't do it on the phone. There's just too many places, too many people that are gaining their living. You have a question?
No, I just was gonna say, I donate to my church, that's all. Period.
Yeah, and you can pick your groups and organizations, and that's what most people do. They say, this is my charity that I donate to, whether it's my church and something else or whatever it is. You pick your cause and you donate to that, and that's always a safer method.
I tell them, well, call a church, ask the church for the money.
There you go. See how that works for you.
Yeah, right.
And of course, if they're legit, maybe they will. Okay, so financial. Anybody have any questions about that? Financial security, just how to keep your funds secure and all of that stuff. Obviously, too, I guess I should touch on if you lose your purse or what have you, make sure that you contact those financial institutions and take care of it. I'm going to reiterate, too, a lot of people will have a wallet or a purse that has 15 credit cards in it, their current ID, their expired ID, their social security card, everything else, and if that's lost or stolen, they lose it all. I'm going to strongly encourage you not to carry those things with you. I don't know when the last time you needed your social security card on your person, but it's very, very rare. Or you need 15 different credit cards and debit cards and what have you. You know, I strongly suggest you narrow it down to just your bank card, your driver's license, and maybe some personal items, pictures, etc. Because if you're carrying all those things, it's a lot bigger difficulty to get them canceled and get them taken care of in the event that your purse is lost or stolen or your wallet is lost or stolen. It's really important to have those things done. If you insist on carrying those things because you feel like you use them enough, make sure that you have a list at home handy of exactly what was in your purse and the numbers that are there. So it's easy for you to get home and then call all those institutions to make sure they're canceled. or at least be able to have the information to provide the police department as to what was taken so they can do some research for you.